people of this city are proud of their heritage. A port city that William the Conqueror considered a gateway to the north in the 11th century. A city that stood 2,000 years ago when the Romans ruled the earth. A city with endearing simplicity despite its complex and often violent history. Lincoln is the home of one of the most important documents of our nation, the writing behind the culture and law that we hold so dear today, the Charter of the Liberties.
The Magna Carta Libertatum was agreed to by King John nearly 800 years ago on the 15th of June 1215. There are 4 copies still around today, and one of them has just come back here to Lincoln.
On the 800th anniversary of the original agreement between the monarchy and the dukes, the Magna Carta now stands proudly in Lincoln Castle. Despite spending most of its time here, the Charter actually belongs to Lincoln Cathedral. It hasn't been an easy existence for the cornerstone of our law and history, and Lincoln has had to defend it valiantly over the years. This charter is so precious to our history that the words are now protected in the deep vaults of the castle.
Well, we're here at Lincoln Castle, where we've built, as you can see behind me, a brand new vault to house Lincoln's Magna Carta, one of only 4 remaining original copies from 1215, sealed by King John. And of course, if we take ourselves back to that time, 1215, what brought about Magna Carta? Well, really you have a system in England where the king controls and administers the country. He has barons who supply him with the funds to do so. The Magna Carta was a coming together of those grievances. The barons had many grievances, but really, how can we put order into the king's demands? And thus the idea was born, that the king could be controlled. The king, ordained by God, could be controlled. On the reverse of the Magna Carta is written Lincolnia. It was meant to be delivered here. It was delivered to this city. It's been in this city ever since, albeit for its excursions abroad from time to time, including the Second World War. But it's Lincoln's Magna Carta displayed in this city that it was meant for, and that's quite unique. None of the other surviving Magna Carta can claim that provenance.
The importance of the Magna Carta and the 800-year-old ideology its pages hold are slowly slipping away in recent years due to the ever-changing law and modern liberal thinking. Its value to the Constitution has been diminished over years of evolving politics. But it wasn't so long ago that the Charter was used as a bargaining chip, a priceless, tantalising prize offered in times of war to bring aid to the Allied cause during World War II. The Charter is the foundation of our legal priorities, and historians have worked hard to find out why it nearly left our shores for good in 1941.
Churchill wants America to come into the war in 1941, I think. So he's looking for ways to encourage that. Now, Magna Carta is very important to the Americans. The idea of the Constitution, their connection to the home country. Magna Carta that says that you must have justice. So he thinks if he sends them a copy, an original copy of Magna Carta, and gives it to them, they'll be reminded both of their obligations to England, their connection to England, and their obligations to justice and to law and to freedom and liberty, all those big ideas that are associated with Magna Carta. The Lincoln Magna Carta, he thinks, is the ideal copy. Unfortunately, he forgot he didn't own it. So when he suggested sending it off and basically told Lincoln they were going to, that's the point at which the cathedral reminded him that they owned it, and there was no way at all that they were giving it to America. It was actually in America at the time. That's why the Churchill thinks that copy is ideal, but only because it had been on tour there when war broke out, not because anybody had ever thought they were going to give it there. So it doesn't work out for Churchill, but that's what he's trying to do, remind the Americans about liberty.
Law, liberty, legacy. This is the philosophy of the Magna Carta. The original purpose of its creation was to remind the monarchy of mortality and to return the law to the people. The whim of the king was not his divine right, but a privilege, and that law is something to be celebrated. It's a celebration that the historic city of Lincoln is proud to host on the 800th anniversary. Lincoln is no stranger to pretty relics of ages past, but the Magna Carta has much more value than just its looks.
Amongst all the clauses of Magna Carta, there are 4 clauses which still remain in force today, if you like. 2 of them are about the freedom of the City of London, freedom of the Church, but clauses 39 and 40 are about justice. To no one will we deny, to no one will we sell. Everyone has a right to justice, to trial by their peers, and not to be under a command, if you like, of the king, a whim of the king.
In recent years, young and ambitious students now walk in the footsteps of our ancestors, as the young university places itself proudly in the centre of such vast history. The marriage of the old and the new is something that both the university and the castle hold dear.
The nature of the university is about expression of ideas, challenging ideas, and I think for Lincoln it's about finding our identity, both of a new university which is focused on a broad range of contemporary subjects, but equally the nature of a university is always one which is bound up with the heritage of learning, and I think the very position of a university in Lincoln as a town and as a city is such that actually it gives us a certain element of gravitas. It shows the importance of the ability, our freedoms that we have, and to some extent they developed from the Magna Carta, even if they're not exclusively from the Magna Carta itself.
Of course, the Magna Carta isn't the only important thing that the castle celebrates. It hosts a number of special events across the year, and it just so happens that St. George's Day fell just as the Charter was returning to the city. A celebration of English heritage is especially important to the castle, especially during this time of the year. With the elections out of the way and the nation's patriotism at an all-time high, St. George's Day and his story of heroism fits well into the medieval history.
There's a dragon in a heathen country. It lives in a lake and it's a plague-ridden beast. So to keep it from actually coming into the town, the local people feed it first sheep, and when they run out of sheep, they start feeding it children. They feed it children by lot. One day the lot falls to the daughter of the local king. He tries to buy the villagers off, but they're not having any of it, so the daughter's tied up beside the lake. Now at this point, very fortunately, George comes past. He's a knight, he's given up lots of things to preach about Christianity as well. And he hears what's going on. He fights the dragon. At this stage he doesn't kill it. He takes the girdle that the princess is wearing and he puts it round the dragon's neck and has the princess lead it into the city. The people are terrified of this dragon, so St. George says, well, all right, I'll kill it, but only if you all agree to convert to Christianity. So they agree to convert. George kills the dragon. Happy ending both ways. Dead dragon, live princess. Oh, and everyone's now a Christian.
Now, dragons clearly aren't an issue for the United Kingdom anymore, but the message of the story still resonates today. Liberty. Although the Charter doesn't hold any real power anymore, it still holds an important message. The message of the law, the message of the people, the message of the Magna Carta.